work on. So I can agree with you there, but I like him in all aspects. But anyway, moving on to some more Swan facts. I did a couple more bits since it's my favorite film. I felt like it was appropriate. So when asked how he was how he prepared for the role of Donnie, he said, Eli Roth, of course, that it was easy to be angry because of the uncomfortable wardrobe, namely wool underwear.
Wow.
Yeah.
Authentic.
Also, I guess his girlfriend at the time had snuck in some Hannah Montana music, which she uploaded into his iPod while he was on set, which he reportedly used to kind of get angry for that role.
Oh, wow.
Which is funny. Very funny. This is pretty interesting to me. Donnie Donowitz is Lee Donowitz's father, and Lee is the film producer character in True Romance.
I did hear that. I heard at one point Tarantino was trying to connect, however loosely, all of his films. And I remember hearing that. Yeah, he has kind of this Tarantino verse, as they call, and everything's kind of interconnected in some way.
Some way, yeah.
Well, I know that like John Travolta's character. Vincent Vega is supposed to be the brother of Michael Madsen's character,
Mr. Blonde,
Vic Vega in Reservoir Dogs.
Vega Brothers. Yeah. And at one point they were going to do the Vega Brothers' mother, and then it kind of was tossed out the window for whatever reason. Yeah.
That sucks.
Okay. It was also known that Aldo is supposedly the great-grandfather of Brad Pitt's character in True Romance. Yeah, I know you haven't watched the film yet, so it probably means nothing to you as of yet, but once you see it, you'll get it later.
He's got, I think he only has 2 or 3 scenes in the movie, but he's easily like the most entertaining
he's just like this stoner,
character in the movie.
This stoner that just gets high and is like chilling on his couch the whole time. And it's like people walk through him pretty much. They have to interact with him. My last... Well, I think my final one. I have so many swimming around in my head or whatever. But anyway, my last written one is when the final draft was written for Inglourious Basterds, it actually was immediately leaked on the internet. And people started posting like their favorite excerpts and stuff, like on all the Tarantino kind of fan websites and stuff. So I thought that was pretty interesting because I never heard about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like he has a really big problem with people getting a hold of his scripts.
Well, I think because he's got that following, and people always want to know like what the next Tarantino movie is, and like what he's doing.
I feel like that's kind of an honor because you don't ever hear about that about anybody else.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're so eager to know what he's working on.
What's going up next?
So I really kind of think that's cool, or whatever. Do you guys have anything that you want to add?
Favorite character in the movie is probably the Jew Bear.
Yes.
Just, I don't know, his character is so badass. Yeah, that's just a little thing for me.
The Bear Jew.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you guys this question, since I feel like this is, if not the most quotable films, it's way up there. What is your guys' favorite piece of dialogue, if you can think of anything?
I like the very end, where after they had kind of made the deal, and they take Christoph Waltz and the other guy out into the woods, and they immediately like shoot the other guy, and Christoph Waltz is like, "Wait, what are you doing? Like, I made a deal. You'll be court-martialed for that." And he says, "No." He's like, "Probably chewed out. I've been chewed out before."
Yeah.
He just kind of brushes it off. And by the way, like, I think that the look, just it's there's no dialogue in that part at the very end when Brad Pitt talks to Christoph Waltz and says, you'll go somewhere and you'll ditch your uniform and you'll just be a regular person in society and no one will know what you've done, but we'll know. And just before he carves the swastika into his head at the very end, the look on Christoph Waltz's face when he realizes what's about to happen
Yep. Yeah.
is brilliant. I love it. and that's probably my favorite chunk of dialogue is that whole exchange that he has with Christoph Waltz just before the very end of the movie.
James?
I was gonna say that.
You can say that too.
I like the very end part where where he says, "Oh, it's one of your best," and he's like, "Yeah, it's a masterpiece," you know. But
With the guy from The Office, right?
yeah,
Yeah. BJ Novak.
that part, and I also like the theater scene where she what's her the
Shoshana.
Yeah, where she cuts her part in and she starts that dialogue of, you know, this is my revenge, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then everybody's like, ah!
Everybody's like, what the hell's going on? And then the doors are all locked and everything. But yeah, I like that part too.
Yes.
And then the 100 scalps, when he says, you know, I want my 100 scalps and I'm gonna get them. That kind of gives you the
gist of how far that these people are willing to go.
Yeah.
I like the before Eli Roth and the other guy storm the box.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he says, you know, I got to kill this guy, and then you have, I forget what the time frame is, 10 seconds or something, to kill this guy. Can you kill this guy? And he says, I have to.
Yeah.
I think my favorite scene and favorite dialogue would have to be when they're doing the interrogation of the officer right before he brings Donnie out. I feel like for me that was the iconic scene from which the whole film is revolved around or whatever, you know. And he's like, no, like, I'm not going to tell you anything. Fuck you and your Jew dogs or whatever, right? And he's like, oh, well, we're all tickled to hear you say that or whatever because, quite frankly, watching Donnie kill Nazis is the closest thing we have to going to the movies.
Yeah.
And they say it like it's no big deal at all. And I just really loved that scene.
I like the build up to, you know, when they're waiting for him, when they're waiting for Donnie to come out. Yeah, because
slowly hitting it.
It's a big build up with not only the reveal on screen, but also the Morricone music that's underneath it.
Yeah,
has like a really big build up for like a couple of minutes before it like gets to that epic like trumpet as he walks out.
He's like, take your wiener schnitzel licking finger and show me, point out here on this map where I want to know. Yeah. And even that the intensity when he like swings the bat and you actually see him crack him with the bat is, I don't even know how they did that, but it looks incredibly real.
I think that the guy that does a lot of the effects for Tarantino movies is Greg Nicotero, who does Walking Dead.
That was, you've ruined a swan tag for Hateful Eight, but it's okay.
Well, I mean, I think they've worked with him since, like, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Because I think he did the Needle in the Heart.
Which is played backwards. That's something that we forgot, right?
Yeah.
It's, that film, like a bonus fact or whatever, that film, when he plunges Uma Thurman with the adrenaline shot, is played backwards.
So it's basically to get that look of him plunging in, he's basically pulling out
and they play
the
it.
syringe.
Yeah, they play it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you go back and watch that scene, you'll see that little the circle disappear because it's in reverse.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about for Inglourious?
I think I hit all my notes here.
Yeah. I think we're good. You got anything else?
I don't know. Just that I love this movie.
Yeah.
I think honestly, this is like when I was anticipating this film, not only just for a Tarantino film, but for film in general. I don't remember being as excited as I was for anything, even now. Looking back on that, I feel like this is the film that I was like that. It kind of describes me as a person. If you think, like, I've never been more excited for this film to come out or whatever. So, Inglourious Basterds means a lot.
Yeah.
It really does. And yes, there is something I want to hit on. Why is it that people want to attack his spaghetti westerns and him kind of hitting on slavery and things like that and dropping the N-bomb, but it's like he does this piece, and because it's doesn't involve our nation, it's okay, right? Because he's attacking Germany, it's suddenly okay. But then I just thought that was interesting, that nobody had any big faults about him attacking Nazis or Germany, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or doing that kind of revenge story. But then when he gets into the spaghetti westerns and something that's more centered around us as a nation and of U.S. history, then all these people are like, that's not cool, you know. And we'll get into that later when we hit on Django specifically and Hateful Eight. But I just thought that was interesting, that this didn't get any kind of hate as far as that. And it's very, like, still a ballsy film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The subject that he's talking about. But yeah, I think that's a strong note to end on.
No, that's a very good point.
What's our next film? So Django Unchained. You guys want to roll the that trailer?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Here it is, guys.
There ain't no grave can hold my body down. There ain't no grave can hold my body down.
Good cold evening, gentlemen. Amongst your inventory, I've been led to believe is a specimen I'm keen to acquire.
When I hear that trumpet sound,
What's your name?
I'm gonna rise right out of the ground.
Django. Then you're exactly the one I'm looking for.
Hey, stop talking to him.
Calm down. I'm simply a customer trying to conduct a transaction.
Last chance, fancy pants.
Oh, very well. Do you know what a bounty hunter is? You kill people, and they give you a reward. Better they are, bigger the reward. I need your help. I'm looking for the Brittle Brothers. However, I don't know what they look like. But you do. Don't you? They caught my wife, and they sold her, but I don't know who took her. That means we visit every plantation until we find them. Once a final Brittle Brother lies dead in the dust, I agree to give you your freedom, and I'll take you to rescue your wife.
Where are we going?
Gentlemen, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. How do you like the bounty hunting business?
Kill white folks and they pay you for it? What's not to like?
I like the way you die, boy.
He is a rambunctious sword, ain't he?
What's your name?
Django.
The D is silent.
All right, that was the Django Unchained official trailer.
Yes.
So I guess it's kind of hard to believe that it was released in 2012, that it's been that long already.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It feels like it was just
Relatively,
yeah,
maybe.
it's way sooner than that.
Yeah.
So 2012, it runs in at 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's got an 88 on Rotten Tomatoes. It was made for 100 million, and it grossed 162 million roughly. It's starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Christoph Waltz once again, Jamie Foxx, Samuel L. Jackson, and Kerry Washington, to name the big
names.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about this film? As it was his kind of debut into the spaghetti western
westerns,
territory, right?
I love it.
I thought it was a great movie.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Would you guys? How do you think, like? Because I noticed that I feel like it's harder to quote not taking things from that are in the trailer or whatever, but I feel like it's a little bit harder to quote things from